So what's up, you guys? I just got out of school right now. That was my last day. I stayed for cross-country practice. So right now I'm going to talk about, Yu-Gi-Oh in high school. But first, let me take a shower and get swagged up because I'm really sweating right now. Oh, and by the way, I'm officially a senior, so cross-country captain. So what's up, this is Yugiohswagduelist, and like I said, I just got out of school, for this year, because, on to my senior year, but today, I just want to talk about high school and Yu-Gi-Oh! How, for me, they do not really mix and interact, really. Well, first, since I was a child, I got in and out of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, you know what, yeah, I'll quit, you know what, I'll come back, I'll quit, I'll come back. And my my freshman year going into my sophomore year, I wasn't playing at that time, and I was trying to get back into it. So I I found it out on Craigslist where this guy was selling like all of his Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. Like he had like mats, a binder, tins full of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, a bunch of holos, and he was selling them for like $60. And I was like, oh, so I hit him up. And I actually bought the cards, and I'm like, so I was clueless. I didn't know what was the meta or anything. And I started making a deck, and I was like, back in like '07, '07 to like '09, I used to play Crystal Beast, and I'm like, well, I did good with that deck. What if I try to make it again? So I did, and it just wasn't it. I would always get murdered by 6 hams, by X Sabers, by like Synchron decks. It was just terrible, so I got out of it, and then I came back into it about like a year ago, my sophomore year going to my junior year, and again, I think I still had my Crystal Beast deck, and then little by little I started getting into new cards. I saw this video for a regionals top 8 Malefic Scourge, and I'm like, wow, I like this type of deck, anti-meta. So I got into that, and then slowly I started playing again, and it wasn't until like December of last year when I actually went to my first regional. And when I went to my first regional, that same day I had a wrestling tournament, and it was at the convention center in LA. And for the tournament, I was supposed to meet like the whole team at school like at 6 for the bus, and then I showed up at the convention center on like at 8, and I saw 3 of my friends, and they were like asking me, oh, they're like mad, they're like, oh yeah, first you missed the bus and shit, and then okay, get your ass to coach and all that. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not here to play in the tournament for I'm not here to wrestle, compete in the tournament for wrestling. I'm here to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And they're like all surprised, like, wow, I can't believe you play Yu-Gi-Oh! And all that. Like, they never thought that I would have played Yu-Gi-Oh! And then I didn't really enter the tournament. It got cut off at 700 or 800 people capacity, and then I was like 10 people away, and I just got cut off, so I couldn't compete at both of those. And then on school, part of the wrestling team were saying like, oh, he plays that, like, all that at the tournament. He actually went to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Instead, and one of the coaches saw me at the regional, so I didn't show him my face, and I was like, you know what, wrestling is really not my sport, so I just quit, and I was deciding going back, this upcoming year, but I was like, no, you know what, I don't want no problem, so I'll probably just find another sport, or probably do, I don't know, soccer. I'm not really a good soccer player, but I'm trying to get my triathlete patch, 3 varsity sports, and I don't know, maybe I will go to varsity. I mean, maybe I will go with wrestling. But to me, Yu-Gi-Oh, I keep that on the low key. I don't really like anyone noticing. I'm not that type of guy that, you know, like, oh, he plays Yu-Gi-Oh, or I don't know. It's just like, it's kind of like a nerdish game. Not really nerdish, but it's like a kid's game, and people really take it serious. Like, oh, he's playing, you know, it's a kid's game, and I'm not really like showing that off. People like the first people that actually knew were some of my closest friends. Um, my light died for some reason. Put on auto. Okay, it was on auto. He just always turns off on me for some reason. The people that knew were my closest friends at first, and then part of the wrestling team, and then I just took it as a joke. This year I had business, and then one of my teachers was handing out little boxes for index cards because she didn't really need them, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'll use them for my to keep my Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and then people were like laughing. They thought I was joking, but then there's one of my like friends, and I don't know how I said that, oh yeah, I do play Yu-Gi-Oh! And they're like, what? They're like, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah, I actually do play Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, I could actually use this as a deck box to keep my cards. And they're like, oh really? I actually have the index box right there. I could actually like show it. So a business teacher was handing out these index cards box, and I'm actually really keeping Yu-Gi-Oh cards in here, like I said. And then some other people found out, and I don't really care now. You know, probably senior year, I don't really care what other people think. What really, like, mostly it's like older people for some reason. Like, if they're younger or the same age, you know, like, I don't care if they know me well enough. If they don't know me at all, or like they know me but they don't talk to me, and they're like, oh, this guy plays Yu-Gi-Oh, oh, what a lame or something. So I don't really like to show that off. Like a person that does, like, for some reason at school, if he does like sports, whatever, they don't really assume that a person will do like geekish stuff or anything like that. At my school, South of Money, there's not that really many people that play Yu-Gi-Oh. Yesterday I was watching Yu-Gi-Oh memes videos, and he was saying like, oh, how he started his own. He had a chess club, and then he like converted into Yu-Gi-Oh, and then there's like people playing Yu-Gi-Oh at his school and all that, like during lunch and all that. And at my school, there's very few amount of people that play. So I actually found some friends or some people that I knew that played Yu-Gi-Oh through my channel. Like I just had like random Yu-Gi-Oh videos talking about regionals and all that, and they came across them, and they're like, oh shit, like I can't believe you played Yu-Gi-Oh all this time and we didn't know. And I'm like, oh, well, I didn't know either. And they actually went with me to wait, was it? Yeah, at the LA Regional this past, when was it, like a month, 2 months ago? I can't really even remember the day. And they actually, and you know, ever since that we found out that we play Yu-Gi-Oh, we actually like, at school we talk about this and that. Today they're in cross country practice. I actually have one of them's also on the team, and he was like, oh, well, and I asked him, oh, you're going to a tournament this Saturday, because there's going to be one at some hobby store in Rosemead, so I'm going to go. He just has to tell me where it's at and when, or at what time. And I was like, oh, this and that, and then we were talking about like, oh, hey, I heard that Gravekeepers are going to be in the meta this time because they can really slow down E-Dragons. And then some people were looking at us, and he was like, oh, these guys, they don't even know what we're talking about. And then he was like, oh, they must think that we're talking about like Pokemon or some other card game. And then we just kept talking about it. And you know, Yu-Gi-Oh really connects you like to people that actually really play it. And some people didn't really think that I would play Yu-Gi-Oh since I don't know, like they don't really think an athlete would play any geekish games. I actually do 3 sports, which is cross, wrestling, and track. I don't know if you can see, I don't really have that much stuff on my Letterman right now. Last year it was my worst year. I'm also missing some patches, track, and what do you call it? A varsity bar, and I also have a medal from Bell Gardens Invitational. I think Warren was in there. Warren and some other schools that I don't know that wasn't in my league, and I'm gonna get them on there. But last year was my worst year for sports. For cross, I didn't have grades, so I didn't get another varsity bar that I have. And for the team, no one made it to CIF. And then for wrestling, I kind of sucked at it. And then halfways, I just quit because one of the coaches saw me at the regional. And then for track, I got an ankle injury, and that just put me back like 3 months. But this year that's coming up, senior year, gonna go all out. Cross country captain. Gonna get my hopefully MVP if nothing happens to me, my ankle or anything. Just make it a CIF. Last year, I only ran league finals, and it was top 12 to league finals, and I was like 4 people away because there's like top 12, and I was like around like 16, and I didn't make a CIF. But this year for sure, since most of the seniors are getting out, and I have been training, and I still have like 6 months into the just 3 months into the new school year, and yeah, like around like 4 months until like the real season. And if I can find that medal to put it on here, and then wrestling, hopefully I could make make varsity, then get my triathlete patch, and then again for track, captain, CIF. And for cross, we actually have a good team this year, so hopefully we train hard enough and win league, since the last time we won was '07, which was 3 years before I was a freshman. So the bottom line of this video is that I don't know, for some reason I'm not that type of person that can mix Yu-Gi-Oh with high school or any type. I think college, I don't know about college, other people are more open with Yu-Gi-Oh that they actually play, but for high school, it's too much. There's too much people that criticize. It's too much criticism about a lot of shit talking, and too many people that just like complain and talk about you. And I don't really think it's a good idea to open up and start playing like Yu-Gi-Oh during lunch or in front of people that don't really know you, and then they just start judging about you, saying this and that. Oh, these nerds, wasting all his time. He's gonna be like 40 years old and still gonna play Yu-Gi-Oh, but there's really nothing wrong with it. It's just a hobby. Say, let's see, what's a long hobby that people carry out throughout their lives? I don't know. Let's see, like fishing. You had a problem with fishing? I tried out fishing, but I didn't really like fishing. Like old people fish. Like, how come you can't make fun of that? Or just because at first Yu-Gi-Oh was a kid thing, and then you eventually had to grow out of it. But there's stuff that continues on. Like I said before, that Yu-Gi-Oh is a drug. That you can't get out of it. The more you get, the more you want, and you can't quit. Like if you do quit, you just come back to it. It's something that will just stick for you for life. Something that you bond with. It's like more than a hobby. So for new people or older people that already been playing with Yu-Gi-Oh, and they're going into high school, college, whatever. They shouldn't be ashamed of this. There's other people, who cares, whatever. It's your thing. Other people, like in relationships, whatever, they don't really want to show it. But either way, eventually not everyone, but most people that are really close to you are gonna find out, and there's nothing really to hide. Like, who cares if it's card game? Like at first, when one time when I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh, I put up my cards on Craigslist, and two guys, they come up in a Porsche convertible, and I'm like, oh fuck, and I was like, no, it's not them. And then all of a sudden they call myself, and I'm like, I answered, and they said that they're like already outside to to buy the Yu-Gi cards, and I go outside, and I'm like, what the fuck, like they play? And they're like, yeah, they're looking out through the stuff, through my cards and all that, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck, like these guys, they come out all swagged out and like a nice ass car, and they play Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm like, well, there's nothing really wrong with it.